Welcome to our Health and Wellbeing webinar at Texas Tech. We are excited to have all of you joining us today. I'm Connie Watson with Parent and Family Relations, and joining me today are Amanda Garcia from Student Health Services and Dr. Gregory Johnston from the Student Counseling Center. This webinar is part of our Red Raider Family webinar series, where we share information on topics of interest to parents, families, and supporters of our students. We hope this webinar will help you better understand some of the health and well-being support resources available to your student. As you can see on the screen, we have upcoming webinars on topics like campus safety, academic success resources, and living on campus planned later this summer. We will keep this webinar to about 30 minutes or so. If there's time at the end, we will open it up for questions using the Zoom Q&A feature. In the meantime, feel free to type in your questions throughout the presentations. We have some folks working behind the scenes to answer those for you. We are recording this session and posting it to our website so you will be able to review again later or share with others. We will also email this recording link to the email you used to register for this webinar. So without further ado, I introduce to you Amanda Garcia.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Amanda Garcia. I'm our Assistant Director at Student Health Services for Outreach and Marketing. Thank you for joining us during your lunch hour. So Student Health Services is located in the Student Wellness Center, which is off of Flint in Maine. We're catty corner from where the tennis courts are. We are open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5:30. And so you can call us anytime during those hours to contact our office, and we have a full realm of services that I will discuss and we'll tell you a little bit about what that all is available, what is all available to you. So as an undergraduate, your student is paying what's called a student health and wellness fee, and that gives your student access to our services within our building, which also includes the Student Counseling Center. Our services are on the first floor. We have our own pharmacy where you can receive over-the-counter meds. You can also transfer your meds over, and they're relatively affordable for all of our students. We have our own lab and x-ray. We see a lot of students for urgent care, but that's not all the services that we can provide. We have primary care, so we really encourage our students to establish care within our office since they will be here over the next 4 years. And if you'll hit the next slide, we have so all of our clinicians are MDs, NPs, and PAs that specialize in family practice, women's health, mental health, behavioral health, sports medicine. We have our own gynecologist, psychiatrist, psychologist, dermatologist. We do ADHD testing. We have an MD that specializes in eating disorders. We also have 2 licensed professional counselors. And like I stated, we do have a sports medicine team who travel with our Texas Tech Athletics and specialize in musculatory injuries. So everything prevalent to your student's health as a college student, we are able to provide those students for here at Texas Tech. Our billing. So there's lots of options for billing. If you are uninsured and self-pay, we can give you a 40% discount and then bill your student business services. You also, if you are insured, we accept all major insurances. If you have a PPO plan, always just check in to make sure that we are within network. If you have an HMO plan, be sure you change your PCP to Dr. David Edwards, which all this information is on our website. If you need any further information, or you can give us a call. We're relatively slow for the summer, so any of our patient service specialists can answer any questions that you may have, in particular with your insurance plan. You can also purchase an insurance through the university. I really like to encourage all of our parents to look into it if that's something that you're interested in. I know things can change over the course of 4 years, so I don't want you to look too far if you do need insurance. You can purchase through the academic healthcare plan. It's a Blue Cross Blue Shield plan. We offer a medical plan, dental plan, and vision plan. If you use that medical plan within our clinic, everything is covered at 100%. So you won't have to pay any out-of-pocket expenses for copays or deductibles. You pay for your premium, you use our services, and they're going to be free within our building. If you use if you use that insurance outside of our building, then copays and deductibles will apply. We now have made it a lot easier for our students to be able to schedule an appointment. We went live with MyChart in February, which is an Epic product. You can manage your appointments, you can pay for your bill, request prescription refills. You can schedule an appointment just over the phone using our app, and you can access your medical records, message your doctor. One thing that I've really encouraged all of our students and parents to do is just take some time in setting up your child's or your student's MyChart account. If you want to give us a call during the summer before the students arrive, that way we can get your MyChart account set up. You can go ahead and enter any insurance information, any medical history that may ask. As first-time healthcare consumers, students have a hard time filling these out on their own, and most of the time they do call mom and dad. So you can just kind of be prepared and get that done ahead of time. That would be really great. If you'll go back one slide, Connie, thank you. One program that we have with Fitwell, which is a program within the University Recreational Center, is students can be seen by one of our clinicians, and we really want to encourage a physical activity here on campus, and so they can meet with they can actually get a referral to Fitwell and meet with a personal trainer, whether they're wanting to gain weight, lose weight, whatever that goal may look like for your student. They can receive a referral and be able to have that free personal training with Fitwell. So definitely make sure your student takes advantage of that if that's something that they're looking forward to. How students can interact with our building. So we do offer a volunteers program within Texas Tech Physicians. Your student can get placed at Student Health and become a patient navigator. These patient navigators are able to gain experience in customer service, gain clinical experience, learn how to work in a professional setting. We also will have panelist opportunities for your volunteers to be able to sit with other with our healthcare team and be able to answer any questions that they may have, and how to get into nursing school, or maybe like what made you choose medicine. And so we have that opportunity, and then we also can provide them a letter of recommendation. So if your students are pre-health and they're looking to gain some experience, gain some volunteer hours, we'd be happy to have them. Also, another way that you can get involved with our office is if your student's in any kind of pre-health organization or sorority and fraternity life here on campus, they can request for a presentation from Student Health. I would go over similar information that I'm going over now, just to make sure that our students are educated on all the services that we can provide. We can also pick certain topics that may be prevalent to your students' organization. We can discuss mental health, men's health, sleep hygiene, women's health. Additional topics can be reviewed and always subject for approval. So anything that you may think of, I can also bring our MD and specialties to come in with me. So that is always a really great opportunity just to collaborate and speak with our clinicians and be able to get firsthand answers from them. And be sure to follow us on Instagram. I really encourage our students and our parents to follow us on our Instagram account. We post everything in regards to student health. So if there's any outbreaks on campus, flu campaigns, blood drives, our stories tell our students how they can get involved for volunteer work. We post a lot of, highlight a lot of the services that we provide here, the staff that we have within our team, and we just post a lot of education to keep our students healthy here on campus. Like I said, we also, post about flu shots. And so we have flu campaigns for our students to come and get their flu shots. We really encourage them. And then we also have blood drives. And that's a little bit about student health. I hope that you learned a lot of information today. If you have questions, please feel free to give us a call. Our number is 806-743-2848. And you can also visit our website, our Instagram. There's lots of information for you to find in regards to immunization compliance, insurance information, MyChart, anything that you may have. Thank you. And now I have Dr. Johnson from Student Counseling Center, who's going to tell you a little bit about their program and their department and give you some information.
Great. Thank you, Amanda. And thank you all so much for letting me come and speak to you today. So I work in the Student Counseling Center here at Texas Tech. And as Amanda mentioned, we occupy the same building. So we are in the Student Wellness Center, where Student Health Services are on the first floor. We occupy the second floor. So we are in room 201 of the Student Wellness Center. We are open from Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. If the university is open, we're open. So that includes summers and breaks between semesters. Um, all services are available to students that are enrolled in TTU. So if, like Amanda mentioned, if you pay a student wellness fee, you are eligible for services. And so I encourage you to reach out to both the Student Health Services or the Student Counseling Center. It's a really great resource for your student. All of our services are voluntary, and that's really important. Nothing is mandatory here at the Student Counseling Center. Our charge is truly to meet the mental health needs for students on campus. So if your student is struggling with anything outside of the academic uh, classroom that's impacting the academic classroom, then we'd love to be a resource for you all. Um, there are no fees beyond what you already pay for the student services and the health and wellness fee. So there's no additional fee on top of that. We do have a $25 no-show fee, and that just is a way for us to help keep accountability and maximize our resources. And therapists will determine what treatment is the most efficient for you. So we have a, go to the next slide. We have a walk-in clinic that is from Monday through Friday. That's 12:30 to 3:30. You will meet with a counselor during that time. I encourage you to let your student know that we need about an hour or an hour and a half to complete that entire process. It does involve some intake material that they need to sign and go over, as well as time to meet with a therapist. And during that meeting, the client and therapist will determine what best modality works best for them. These are just brief meetings with your therapist to talk about what are presenting concerns. And if your student is in crisis, we encourage them to come in anytime. So don't feel like they have to wait for the walk-in clinic hours. They can come in 8 to 5, and they'll meet with a clinician at that time or a therapist. If it's not a crisis intervention, we direct you towards these walk-in clinic times, and it's just a way for us to be able to make sure that your student is connected to services in the most efficient way. Next slide. So some of the services that we offer. I personally lead the Manager Mood group. This is a life skills group for students, just learning things about healthy relationships, learning ways to cope with anxiety or stress, dealing with emotional regulation and things like that. So it is a 4 week group and meets throughout the semester. Your student can get some information. If they want to come in and be a part of that group, we'd love to invite them to be a part of that. If that's not what they're interested in, we have a Mind Spa. And Mind Spa is a room that we have dedicated here at the Student Counseling Center. And it's really kind of a way to, kind of an oasis on campus for your student if they're having a stressful day. We have a massage chair, yoga mats. We have basically self-help audio things and guided meditation, guided imagery for meditation, things like that. That can be reserved for an hour. If they're, again, they don't have to be a client of the Student Counseling Center to take advantage of that resource. And it's a really nice way to kind of relax if they have a little bit extra time on campus. Other things that we have that aren't, that maybe if they need services outside of the Student Counseling Center, we have a therapy assistance online, which has self-help and ways to kind of practice some of the things that we talk about in the counseling setting, bibliotherapy that they can have so they can work through workbooks or some manuals if for some reason they're not able to come in for individual therapy. We have group interventions. We have interventions for all kinds of different presenting concerns. One of those may include just social anxiety. So if your student is struggling to make connections on campus or is a little shy by nature, learning some of these social skills could be an important part of their transition to college and ultimately improve their health and well-being. We have individual therapy, relationship therapy. We have a relationship enhancement center that meets in the spring. This is a unique group because only one of the partners has to be a member of Texas Tech, the community. So if their other partner is not a student at Texas Tech, they're still eligible for services to get some relational help. Um, we also consult with faculty, staff, parents, students on mental health needs, and outreach is an important part of our operation here. We can work with clients here, but we also want to take some messages out to the student campus as a whole. Next slide. Okay, confidentiality is something that's critically important for us. And so essentially, we are a counseling clinic here on campus. So all of the rules connected to that. In terms of confidentiality apply. So your student can come to the Student Counseling Center and be able to talk to a therapist, not worrying about information getting out to instructors, administrators, or even parents. If the student wants the parent input involved in that, we can easily sign a release of information and consult with parents if that's necessary. But this offers a little bit of safety for your client or for your student to be able to come in and talk about the issues that are important to them. We can't disclose any information. Um, if you're wondering about student follow through or referrals, contact the student directly and have them let you know or sign a release of information. And again, we're happy to work with parents or people outside of this space, which may include former counselors or therapists. We just need to get that release of information. Next slide. All right, manager mood. This is the group that I do. Again, work on developing some mindfulness skills, interpersonal skills, relationship regulation, and distress tolerance. We meet typically on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. That might change depending on just availability and when that group can take place. But typically, it's in the afternoons. Uh, at 2 o'clock. I've got my email on the screen, so feel free to take a screenshot of that or write it down really quickly if you want more information. I'd love to share some information with you about that. We also have Manage Mood Online. Again, these are low-level distress, so just maybe a transition to Texas Tech that may be a little bit rocky, difficulty dealing with roommates or partner relationships. That if a student, maybe they go to class and work during the day, so there's really not time to have a session during the 8 to 5 hours. These modules are online for the student to go over. They can click on the link below if they need to and be able to access those modules. Again, as long as they are a Texas Tech student, they have access to that and they can view those at any time. Again, here's our mind spa. So it's a just a refuge from the hustle and bustle of college life. It's kind of a spa-like environment, so it has really soothing sounds. We also have some biofeedback software. Essentially, it monitors your heart rate and teaches you how to self-regulate through breathing or grounding activities. Our massage chair is a big hit. It's a big hit amongst our staff. So if it's slow, sometimes you'll see staff members in. But most of the days, honestly, it's pretty full of students. So it fills up pretty quickly. Again, you can typically make an appointment week of and maybe even day of if you're interested in that. But definitely make an appointment before you come in because it's full about 80% of the time. And then yoga mats and instructional videos, relaxing music, just a way to kind of relax if needed. Therapy online. We have a program called TELUS, and this is online direct services for students. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's in multiple languages. Students can call, they can get online via their laptop or computer. They can even text a therapist if they want to. If they're in distress and we are not um, available. So maybe it's after hours or weekends. This is a resource. We also have a crisis helpline number that I'll talk about in a little bit. But TELUS is a really good option, and students will have an opportunity to speak with a licensed therapist any time of the day or night, whatever is best or most convenient for their schedule. The other is what we have is called Together All, and this is a program that the university uses. It's kind of a group-led peer-led group. It also has a facilitator that's involved in that, but it's really students supporting students, just talking about some of the things that are going on in their life and offering some support for those that may be struggling. Bibliotherapy. Oftentimes, just kind of going over a workbook on nights and weekends may be exactly what your student needs. So these may be ways to deal with or manage anxiety or depression if they're having a difficult time and they need a mandala or a coloring book to help regulate some of that distress when they're in particularly busy times of the semester. They can use this resource. We have these available for students and they're free of charge. They can just ask their therapist if they wish to take a book home. And it's again, it's another resource for your students if individual therapy is not possible or something that they're interested in. A bulk of what we do, honestly, is individual therapy. So after your student comes in for the walk-in clinic, they'll be assigned to a therapist. At times in the semester, we do have a wait list, and that wait list can extend longer than 2 weeks at times. Um, And so, one thing I encourage parents to communicate to their student is if they're noticing some challenges that are going on, if it's early in the semester, feel free to come in and work with your therapist. Just have some space to talk about things that are going on, or maybe an objective way of looking at a situation to help them navigate some challenges. If they're noticing that early in the semester, I encourage them to come on in and get access to resources. If we wait until later in the semester, that might not, or that might come with a wait list connected to that, and that's not always the most helpful in that moment. But we are available throughout the semester. Even if there is a wait list, we do our very best to help keep that as short as possible and get your student in to see a therapist. We also have virtual counseling. As long as you're in the state of Texas, we can meet virtually, basically a Zoom meeting to be able to work with your client. We have students all over the state, and they may be doing internships or at other campuses. And so this is a resource. It's also a resource if your student has, difficulty or challenges with cars, so maybe they're not able to get to the student counseling center easily. This is a resource for them as well. Some of our common areas of focus, basically, most of what we deal with are just distress related to maybe anxiety or depression or relationship concerns, just challenges that typically present. And our job is just to help your student navigate that, offering some coping skills that they can learn or practice that might help them deal with some of these difficult challenges. Transitioning to Texas Tech or any university is a big challenge. There's a lot of change, and oftentimes change can be challenging or distressing. So let us help you, if possible, if needed, navigate some of those challenges. Again, group therapy is another major focus that we deal with. So we have a number of groups going throughout the year. That's spring and fall semester. We don't often have groups in the summer just because the student availability is not as high. And as long as that group is able to make, we're able to have that group experience. And this can be really helpful. Sometimes it's nice to hear students that are in the same kind of maybe age cohort or same experiences that are dealing with some of the similar challenges that they're dealing with, just to know that they're not alone struggling with what they're dealing with. And it's also a helpful way to get some helpful tips or advice from other students who may have dealt with things like that in the past and successfully navigated it. Um, We talked about the REC. This is a unique group intervention on campus. It offers basically a 45-minute counseling session, and a therapist will come in and talk with the client and therapist, talk about what they've noticed from behind oh, basically a see-through mirror, and then continue with that therapy for another 45 minutes. So it's a unique challenge. It's pretty intensive. It's oftentimes in the evening, so we will have it at 5:30 in the evening, and it'll last for an hour and a half. So just a reminder, if your student is struggling with any type of mental health need, and we would love to be a resource for your student, so please keep us in mind. Some of our contact information is we're in the second floor of the Student Wellness Center. Our phone number is 742-3674. Contact that number. If you need anything in terms of resources or if you have questions of me or from me, please contact this number and they'll get in touch with get you in touch with me. If you want to just check out our website, we have that online. I think maybe put in the chat as well, as just a way to kind of go through and see maybe more in depth in some of the programs that we offer. Oh, we can't hear you, Connie. I think you're muted.
I always do that, friends. I always do that. I mute myself so I don't say anything that I should. But anyway, thank you anyway for Amanda and Dr. Johnson. If needed, you can continue to ask follow-up questions in the Q&A. We will be here for a few minutes answering those. And for those of you who are interested in continuing the ARA webinar series, campus safety will be next week, academic success in July, and then preparing your Red Raider for on-campus living on the 22nd. There's a QR code that you can use to get more information for those. There are additional contact email addresses there. But again, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. We appreciate all that you do and how you support your student. And we will continue to monitor the Q&A. Dr. Johnson, could you answer a question? How big are some of these group meetings?
It's a great question. Our groups are typically around 8. Anywhere between 8 to 12 is our size. If it's lower than that, we can make those accommodations. We also have co-facilitators and practicum and interns who oftentimes participate in the groups as well. We have prac and internship students from the council or from the psychology department that are gaining hours towards their license and learning how to be effective therapist, and groups and individual therapy is a way that they do that. It's a really it's a great place. It can be a little bit less threatening than going into a counseling center, and it's typically kind of rotates around a topic or an area of concern, and it's usually student led, so it's a really good intervention.
Also, since I've got you live, can you go ahead and give us your email address again?
Sure, it's just my first name dot last name, so Greg.Johnston at ttu.edu. Feel free to contact me if I'm not able to answer your question. I will find someone who can. But I really want to be a resource for your student. Really, our concern is to help just help them be the best student that they can. And sometimes being a new student is a challenge. So we want to be a resource for them.
Another quick question. I'm not going to use any names here, but if a student is already seeing a therapist but doesn't do well with virtual, is there a way that they can work with the student counseling services? And how would that potentially work? Would those records be sent, or would those, or is that something that needs to be, that they can contact you about further?
Absolutely. So, kind of short answer, as long as they sign a release of information that allows us to communicate with their therapist at home, so we can get a summary of notes or notes sent over. That happens all the time. Sometimes we'll consult with their therapist just to get an idea of some of the challenges that they've been working on and where we can kind of aid or add to that. And so, yeah, that's a resource that's available, certainly. Just have your student let their therapist know. The form is a fairly easy form to do. And as soon as they get that back to us, then we're able to communicate with anyone outside of this space. It doesn't have to be a former counselor. It can be a medical doctor or a treatment team that we are able to work with. So it's a great resource. It's a great way to improve services when you have collaborative care yeah, absolutely.
Well, all righty. Well, we are out of time for today, and I believe there's one final question being answered, but we're going to conclude today's webinar. We again thank you all for being with us today, and look forward to seeing you at our next webinar. Thank you all.
Thank you.